And welcome back. As average mortgage rates hovered around 7% last week, demand for home loans decreased to a 3-month low. However, though, that's not the full story because applications for home loans to buy houses have now decreased for 3 consecutive weeks. And on top of that, when looking at pre-pandemic levels, demand for home loans has now fallen to the lowest levels going back to December of 2014. So in today's video, I'm going to touch on that report from the MBA, but also some more early indications of home buying demand so we can gauge which direction our US housing market is headed. And before we get started, check out that link below, which is homeandmoney.com/Jason if you guys want a real estate agent referral anywhere nationwide. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This is the latest report from the MBA, just announced a couple of days ago at the time of filming this video here. I apologize for my nasally voice. I still have a cold. Hopefully this weekend will pass though, right? Anyways, so this report here posted on June 7th. I did not make a separate video. I tend to make a video each and every week regarding this, but I'm a couple of days late here. Anyways, applications for home loans overall, which of course includes refis plus purchases, decreased by 1.4% compared to the previous week. And this is for the week ended June 2nd. And this right here, very important. This week's results include an adjustment for the Memorial Day holiday. In other words, because this last week actually included the Memorial Day holiday, they did adjust it because, of course, we tend to see a decrease of activity due to the holiday. So overall applications decreased by 1.4%, but of course that includes refis plus purchases. The refi index decreased by 1% from last week, but was down 42% from 12 months ago. Meanwhile, the seasonally adjusted purchase index decreased by 2% from a week ago and was down by 27% from 12 months ago. What they don't mention though is that this has now decreased for the 3rd consecutive week. A decrease in applications for home buyers looking to buy a house using a loan, and also has now fallen to the lowest levels going back to December of 2014 when looking at pre-pandemic levels. So here's a chart from not from the MBA. This is based on data from the MBA, but this is on the Mortgage News Daily's website here. So their index, or their purchase index, is at 154.4. has now decreased for 3 consecutive weeks now. Also, when you zoom back going to December of 2014, back in the week ended December 29th, 2014, the index was 152.4. So in other words, when looking at pre-pandemic levels, we're at the lowest levels going back to late December of 2014. And getting back to the MBA's report here, according to Joel Kahn, who's our deputy chief economist, he stated the following. Overall applications, which of course includes refis plus purchases, were more than 30% lower compared to a year ago as borrowers continue to grapple with this high rate environment. Purchase activity is constrained by reduced purchasing power from higher rates and the ongoing lack of for sale inventory in the market. So in other words, he's saying here, because rates have increased, let me actually just provide weekly rates as of today, which is June 9th. So average rates according to the Mortgage News Daily is right here at 6.92% as of June 9th. 1 year ago, rates are at 5.55%. That's an increase of 1.37 percentage points over the past 12 months. And because of that, that equates to around a 14% decrease in buyers' purchasing power because rates have increased by about 1.4 percentage points over the past 1 year. Let me give you guys an example. Let's say 1 year ago, you were approved for a maximum loan amount of $400,000. But because rates have increased by about 1.4 percentage points now, you would now qualify for a maximum loan balance of around $350,000. That's why I mean a decrease in buyer purchasing power. But here's another way to look at this as well, because of course your average monthly housing payment just went up as well compared to 12 months ago as well. So for someone looking to buy a $400,000 home today, or actually 1 year ago, at 5% when rates are at 5.55%, your P&I payment or your principal interest would be just less than $2,200 per month. Now look at this though. Same scenario, 400,000, 5% down at 6.92%. Average rates today for people with exceptional credit, of course, is $2,507 per month. That's an increase of around $300 more to buy a $400,000 house today compared to 1 year ago. So of course, for many people, an additional $300 more per month is significant and also is causing some people to get on the sidelines because of a decrease in buyer purchasing power. But here's one more thing you guys should be aware of as well, because when looking at the total interest paid over the life of a 30-year loan, the difference here is really great because at 5.55%, your total interest paid over the life of the loan through June of 2053 would be $401,000. Now, because rates have increased to 6.92%, you would pay for that same loan $522,796. That's an increase of $122,000 more in interest paid over the life of that 30-year loan. Okay, let's change gears slightly here and talk about a new survey that was conducted by Fannie Mae, just posted a couple days ago as well. They actually asked consumers regarding their sentiment regarding which direction home prices, rates, and of course, is now a good time to buy a house, is now a good time to buy a house. So this is what's called their Fannie Mae Home Purchase Sentiment Index, or their HPSI, for the month of May. They cite affordability constraints is actually causing home buying and home selling conditions to actually get worse here. So for example, for the people who responded to the survey here, who said it was a good time to buy, it decreased to nearly a survey low. So approximately 19% of the people who responded to the survey here said it was a good time to buy a house. The all-time record low was set back in late 2022 when the share was about 16%. In contrast, for the people who said is now a good time to sell, that increased in May to the highest level since July last year. Additionally, for the second consecutive month, a greater share of consumers indicated that they expect home prices will actually increase over the next 12 months. So according to Mark Pelham, who is Fannie Mae's vice president and deputy chief economist, he stated the following: as we near the end of the spring home buying season, the latest HPSI results, again, their home purchase sentiment index results, indicate that affordability hurdles, including high home prices and high rates, remain top of mind of consumers, most of whom continue to tell us that now is not a good time to buy a house. Consumers also indicated that they do not expect these affordability constraints to improve in the near future, with significant majorities, in other words, the vast majority of people who respond to the survey here, thinking that home prices and rates will either increase or remain the same over the next 1 year. Also, interesting enough, approximately 81% believe it would be difficult to get a mortgage today, matching a survey high. And by the way, this monthly survey from Fannie Mae goes back to 2010. So it's been going on for about 13 years now. So regarding the percent who said now is a good time to buy, again, that decreased from 23% back in April to 19% in May. So only 19% believe it's a good time to buy, whereas 80% said it's a bad time to buy a house. In contrast, about 65% said it's a good time to sell a house, whereas 34% said it's a bad time to sell a home. One thing I do want to point out is that even though 65% or the majority said it's a good time to sell a house, we're not seeing that translate into more new listings, or I should say a surge of new listings. According to Redfin, for new listings for the week ended, or not the week ended, the 4 weeks ended June 4th, we saw a decrease of 25% in the number of new listings compared to 2022 this time. Also, we have approximately 25% less than 2021 as well. That's because at this time back in 2021, there's around 117,000 new listings over the previous 4 weeks. and this year it's only 89,000. This means we're missing approximately 28 to 30,000 new listings that did not hit the market like it did back in 2021 and 2022. Also, according to the survey in May from Fannie Mae, approximately 39% believe that home prices will actually go up over the next 12 months, whereas 28% believe that prices are going to go down, and actually 33% said that prices will remain the same over the next 12 months. In regards to expectations regarding rates, approximately 50% believe that rates are going to increase over the next 12 months. Also, there's not a lot of concern regarding people losing their jobs because 77% believe they're not concerned about losing their job over the next 12 months. Okay, let's change gears slightly here again and talk about Google searches for homes for sale. Because for the week ended June 10th this year, the index was 92, fairly flat compared to 1 year ago when the index was 94. So more or less the same number of searches for homes for sale on Google compared to 12 months ago. Let's also look at the number of real estate showings across North America here, according to showingtime.com. This is pretty interesting here. So for the week ended June 8th, there was an increase of 22% in the number of real estate showings compared to the first week this year. Compare this to last year this time, it was a 6.9% increase compared to the first week of 2022. I do want to point out though, like I mentioned in previous videos as well, is that this is not a measure of the total number of real estate showings and the fluctuations on a year-over-year basis. It measures the number of real estate showings compared to the first week each year. What happened during the first week last year? The first week of 2022 was at a fairly high level because average mortgage rates reached nearly an all-time record low back in August of 2021, which actually caused home prices to increase for the second half of the year, which is entirely abnormal. So to start the year in 2022, we're at a high level. Therefore, it's not unusual to see that in 2022 this year, back in 2022 at this time, it was only a 6.9% increase. Whereas this year, when we compare the first week this year, we're at very, very, very low levels because our housing market tanked in the second half last year. Therefore, this is not comparing really apples to apples, but something that I typically follow though because we can kind of get some indication regarding home buying activity, regarding home showings across North America, even though they're compared to the first week each year. So having said that, here's another way to look at this. Here's, according to the National Association of Realtors, along with Central Lock, which is a lockbox company that a lot of real estate agents in my area at least use in order to get keys to houses, in order to show houses that are for sale to their home buyers. So for example, I have an app on my phone. I type in my code. When I get close to this lockbox, I type in my code, and then it actually causes the lockbox to open, and I can get the keys to the house in order to show the house to my clients. That's what's called a lockbox system, really. Any case, the Central Lock home showings report here showed that for the month of April, home showings were down 10% compared to April of 2022, not compared to the first week of this year, like Showing Time does. Also, real estate showings decrease on a year-over-year basis in each of the four major regions. They actually fell the most in the Northeast, down by 18%. The Midwest fell by 14%. The West fell by 11%. And the South saw a decrease of 6% compared to 12 months ago. So comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. My biggest takeaway is this right here, because applications for home loans from home buyers is still at very, very low levels. The third consecutive week of decreases, which to me kind of makes sense because our housing market tends to slow down greatly after the Memorial Day holiday. Actually, I should say that this actually includes before that, but this is the time of year in general when our housing market tends to slow down. So to me, it's very interesting to see that home buying demand, at least for applications for home loans, are at the lowest levels or lowest pre-pandemic levels going back to December of 2014. In other words, home buying demand is still very, very low, but due to the fact we have this big inventory problem, a lack thereof, this is actually causing bidding wars in some areas and actually causing home prices to increase as well. But we should expect to see decreases in activity as well as home prices in the second half of this year. But this drastic decrease in applications is my biggest takeaway from today's video. But what's yours? Please leave me a comment below. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also, have an awesome day. And we'll see you on the next video.